Hey guys, Kev here, and I'm going to do an overview on this limited release Giant Mouse Ace Jutland. So this is one they sent me, and it is dropping today. So it's available right now. Hopefully I get this out before they're all gone. I think they're doing 500 of these. And I've never actually had a Jutland in before. So they were kind enough to let me check out a Jutland, and they sent this limited version, which is very cool. So this one, what's limited about it, right? It has burlap micarta scales. I want to note it is very, very well done burlap. A lot of times with burlap, I don't like it because it looks gray and dried out and kind of gross, honestly. When you get bad burlap micarta, it's almost like a turd. Just saying. This is not a turd. This is fantastically done. And you could make it even better if you added a little bit of like wicked wax or something like that to it. Would look cool. You have a beautiful wire clip. You guys know I love a wire clip. This guy is reversible. You have a brass backspacer. Not my favorite just because I'm not a big brass copper guy for a couple reasons. One, I really don't like the extra weight. I'd rather just have titanium colored that way or whatever. And then the other reason is the way my hand reacts to it. It like stinks and stuff, and just not my favorite. I love the black hardware. And then we get this really cool sort of gray coated Vanitas 4E blade steel. So something a little different here with the Vanitas. I like that for sure. And they coated it, so that tells me that it is maybe a tool steel. I don't know much about that steel. I've heard of it before. I think Shirogorov has used it before. I think maybe Giant Mouse has used it before as well. So it's not a unheard of steel, but it is something you don't see very often. And the Jutland here. So I want to give my take on the Jutland just because, again, I've never actually reviewed one of these or handled it before I got this one. I think I got it a couple weeks ago or a week ago, something like that. You have a nice hole. I love the pill-shaped hole, one of my favorite designs. Very Voxnez. Obviously, Giant Mouse is Voxnez and Anso. And we have a flipper tab, so we're talking dual deployments. And this is something we're seeing a little bit lately, right? Where's the other knife? Did I put it away? No, here it is. The Tuya Knives Mutt that's coming out on the 18th is a design from my boy Colin, my business partner on Divo Knives, and you have this nice hole and flipper tab design. And I really like that combo because with a hole for deployment, you can go a little stiffer on the detent. Obviously, I prefer that. I'm a detent guy. I really like a stronger detent. And obviously with a flipper tab, you need a nice snappy detent. So they go together pretty well. In my opinion, the hole goes better with a back flipper than a top flipper because when you have a knife that has the top flipper hole, right, you tend to end up with scenarios where you get a weaker detent than you want. Here's an example of a good one. This one is the Berg Blade Sweeney, one of my favorite knives this year. A lot of people are sleeping on this. I've been hearing people say it's boring and, you know, the design or whatever. And I guess I would admit that before I had handled the prototype, when I first saw it, I was like, oh yeah, it's pretty cool. But once I got the prototype in my hand, I fell in love instantly and had to have one, and now I do. And I can tell you the production one is utterly fantastic. So if you're interested, I think these are available now. These are coming out on the 18th, and these are available now. Just saying. But anyway, with the top flipper and the hole, you tend to have detents that end up lighter. Now, again, this one's great. And one of the reasons for that is this flipper tab allows for a lot of leverage. So they were able to dial up that detent. But think about like the Field Duty from Lianma, the new one. When those came out, the detents were too light for the flick because they had to dial it for the top flipper, right? Even on our Divo Knives Buzz model, let me grab that. On our Buzz model, You know, you have to make sure you're able to flick it with the top flipper, so you can't go too strong on the hole, right? And the detent does vary on this, where we had some that were a little on the lighter side, not too light, but a little on the lighter side, and then we had ones like this one that are perfect. But I would always prefer a stronger detent on the hole, but then it can make the top flipper harder. Like this is a little bit tougher on this knife for me because it's stronger for the hole, which I prefer. So when we cut back now, by the way, all of these are fantastic. These are available at Knife Center and Blade HQ right now if you want a Divo Knives Buzz. Absolutely fantastic knife, if I do say so myself. Also, we have a pre-order Saturday for the Stout V2 if you're interested, divoknives.com. Anyway, back to the Jutland, sorry. You can make the detent strong enough for the flipper tab, yet not too strong for the hole. And on this example here, it's not strong, I would say. It's not like ripping my finger off or anything like that, but it's so damn smooth. Like, I don't know if you can see it or hear it, but that was me, sorry. It just fires. And I'm really being lazy on this flipper tab right now. And again, it doesn't feel like it hurts, even though this is jimped. It's like jimp, and then nothing at the end there. I don't know if you can see it. Let's, sorry, again, my lighting with the move and everything. Jimp, nothing. So it's kind of not aggressive here. It's not very sharp either. It's rounded nicely, but it does have kind of a point. But because the detent isn't ripping my finger off, it feels comfortable. And it works really well. So it's one of those ones where initially I was like, ooh, that doesn't feel strong. Like, it doesn't feel strong enough. But then I noticed, like, it's not failing ever. It's firing consistently. And honestly, it's satisfying. So I was like, okay. It's just really smooth. Like, the pivot is very smooth. Now, you can hear a little bit of something going on there. There you go. There's a little bit of pivot lash. So I believe these are made by Fox Knives out of Italy. Not positive, but pretty sure. So my guess is if we went ahead and dropped some skifferoonies in here, it would be fantastic. I don't know if we should take the time to do that real quick. You guys want to do it? But it feels great as is out of the box. I really don't have any complaints other than that little bit of pivot lash. For 99% of people, you won't even know that exists because it's not like detent lash. It's not like lock rock. It's just when it's between open and close, you can move it around a little bit. Yeah, I think this knife is really well done. You guys want to take it apart, I guess? Let's take it apart. We'll grab our Get Good screwdriver, and we'll see if it comes apart easy enough. Yep. Didn't even need the other driver there. Oh, pivot's coming out, so we're going to go the other way. There we go. We got a spinning barrel, so we're just going to pop that back through. Okay, so we got that out. We'll get this clip screw out. Not sure if we'll need to take it out, but since I have the T8 out right now, take that out, and then I'm going to switch over to a T6 here. So there's one downside. You got T6s, but they are well tooled. That's one thing I will admit on Giant Mice or Italian-made, Fox-made knives. They usually do have good hardware. So even though it is a T6, which is a bummer, it's not terrible. Oh, we missed one. There's one down here. Didn't even see you there, buddy. Try to keep everything in if I can. So scale comes right up, no problem. Nice burlap like we talked about. I keep forgetting to grab a pry bar, so hopefully we won't have a problem. This should be steel. Yep, so you have steel here. And we are looking at VTK, made in Italy. So VTK, because remember the other one said LK and LSK, Lion Steel Knives, made in Italy. So maybe this one's Viper. VTK could be Viper. That's kind of cool that they're starting to mark up the exact company. Yeah, here we go. We got steel bearings, which is a big no-no for me. You have a brass cage, but steel bearings, which is gross. So, and this greasy stuff everywhere. I think this is going to help a lot, but we'll see. Hopefully we keep everything else the same, like the detent and the action and all centering. Hopefully all of that sticks around. Sometimes you upgrade one thing and then you downgrade other stuff just by taking it apart, you know. So we got a little bit of that stuff caked in here. I'm gonna see if I can get it with a cape. There we go. We're using a KPL microfiber sort of Q-tip stick. I love these. You can get them at knifepivotlube.com. Use my code LeftyEDC. There's a link down below, of course. Pivot. Let's see if we can just push it out. Hello. There we go. Just the angle was tough there. Clean that. Clean the lock bar. Get any oils and such off. Don't know if I got this part here. Oop. A little bit of a burr, pretty normal. 90% of Italian knives I've handled have a little burr here or whatever. It's not contacting anything, doesn't really matter. We'll grab another one of these and just hit that detent hole. I like that it's a pass-through detent hole, and that's why. I don't know if you can see it, but I don't know if you can see the schmutz that it pushed through. But that is why I like a pass-through. Because otherwise, this schmutz would be inside your detent hole, clogging shit up. Detent ramp, I don't know if you noticed earlier when I double clutched it, but that would be why. Plus and minus to a detent track, or yeah, detent ramp, sorry. Did I say track? Sorry, I meant ramp. Just cleaning the inside of the pivot, and then I'm going to clean the actual pivot screw here. Grab my T8. Usually a bunch of black stuff will come off of here. There you go. It's just kind of the Loctite and whatever else. All right. Okay, we're clean. I'm gonna check these washers. Do we have any? Yeah, we have some little bit of bearing marks on there. Let's see if I can flip them. What they look like. Yeah, they look clean on this side. So I'm gonna go ahead and flip those over so that we have a fresh track for our new bearings. Because I am going to try to put skiffs in here. We're gonna grab our skifferoonies. I can tell you already, they're gonna be 5mm 1/16. 5 mil, 1/16, bada bing, bada boom, Bob's your uncle. I got a lot of those. Well, hopefully, been using a lot lately. And in this case, I'm gonna keep the stock bearings because they're these specific ones. Whenever that happens, I try to keep them with the knife box. If they're just like basic, you know, ceramic with a brass cage, I just pile them up. All right, so I'm gonna put a little bit of heavy on this track real quick. Come on now. There we go. Not trying to go crazy there, but lid. Then we'll take our KPL Original. So I'm gonna put actually I'm gonna put a little bit on this pivot. And let that rub in. Wipe off my fingies. So usually the reason for pivot lash, I'll show you here in a second, is the hole in the blade, right? So the hole for the pivot is actually bigger than the actual pivot. So you have a little bit of movement right in here. I don't know if I can feel it. Or it could be, you know, a little bit of just flex, like the pivot going through the scales is a little bit, I don't know. There could be different reasons, but usually it's the hole for the pivot. We have these interesting 3 dots. I don't know what those are. If they HRC tested this guy, they look kind of designed though. So I'm gonna take this and take this. Actually, while we're here, let's grab a picture. So we have our thumbnail, huh? All right, cool. So let's get the blade on. Put our other bearing in. Wipe my fingy off. And then we're gonna drop this guy on here. Ooh, he wants to go together easy? Nice. I appreciate you, sir. All right. So these screws came out, but that's okay. We'll put them back in. We got our clip screw here. And we got our pivot here. All right, we're going back together, folks. So I'm gonna take the T6 since I have it here. Tighten those down most of the way. I'm not going crazy yet. I'm gonna take my T8. Tighten these down. Try to keep your fingers out of the path of the blade. All right. Well, centering is close. We're not fully tightened yet though, so let's just see how we do. I will say that tip scares me a little bit. Every time I look at it, I'm like, that thing's gonna get me. But I can assure you it does sit below the threshold. And I can show you that in a second. In case you were having the same thought I had before. You look at that tip and you're like, damn, that thing is gonna get me. You kind of just go right over it. I mean, if I really jab my finger in there, I probably could, nope. See, that's how it goes. So let's see, a little bit of play here. Action's good. So the question is, can we get it centered? And was it centered is another question, because I don't remember. Ooh. Okay, no play. Oh yeah, that's good. And we're pretty much dead nuts. I mean, it's close. Detent almost feels snappier now. The action is straight fantastic, which is how it was. So I don't want to sit here and say the Skiffs are doing that. And it's definitely way better in terms of that pivot lash. And you're going to have better side to side, and you're going to have ceramic in there instead of steel. So all of the benefits of Skiff bearings are going on in here right now. I am very excited about this. So Let's see if we can't Loctite it. So I'm going to unscrew this, take it out. Centering's still dead nuts. Tighten it down all the way, still close. No play. So it looks like just testing. No matter what I do, the action's pretty damn good. So that's good to know. So I can just get the glue on there and get her good to go. Clean any extra stuff off of it. See any missing parts? I don't. So now I just put a little bit of glue on the threads up top, and then I try to put a little bit down below too, so we kind of tag team it as it threads in. Tighten that down. Centering's good. No play. Same action. That'll keep getting better as those washers break in. So I'm going to let this cure. I'll show you the action one more time as it cures here. Just going to milk it for a second. Let me just check that clip screw. Can't remember if I tightened it. Yeah, we're good. And these guys, tight. Isn't it interesting how that sits flush? See that T6 down here? So it sits flush, but the one on this side sticks out. Same with these. Put on these. Oh, those two stick out a little bit. Interesting. Could just be they're on a barrel and the barrel is pushed over to this side a little bit. But anyway, you can see centering is damn near dead centered. Detent fires. It's rock solid in all directions. Not feeling anything. No stick either. Swings down. Yeah. She's a beaut, Clark. So there you go. That is the Burlap and Vanadis limited release Giant Mouse Ace Jutland. It appears made by Viper Knives, if I have that correct, out of Italy. Good ergonomics on this guy. You can choke up. It is a Persian style upswept clip point. You know that that's not my style normally, which is why I didn't handle this until now. But it's a very good knife, and they did a great job with it. So I gotta say, the clip point really doesn't bother me. Great Friday night gas station grip. Yeah, I can recommend this, guys. It's up for $245 on their website. You can use my link down below, and you can use my code LeftyEDC. It'll save you like $5, but it helps the channel, and hey, you save $5. So let me know what you guys think. Shout out to Giant Mouse for sending this my way. I love you guys. I hope you have an absolutely fantastic day, and I will catch you later.